My girlfriend won't marry me because she's still married to her best friend, so now her brother is helping me sue them. I've been with my girlfriend, Tanya, for a little over 5 years. We're both in our early 30s. We've lived together for 3 of those years and talked about future plans, kids, trips, everything. She was pursuing her MBA when we moved in together, and money was tight, so I covered most of the rent, utilities, groceries, and also helped with her tuition and debts. I never kept track because I thought we were a team. I had a good job and assumed that once she graduated, we'd balance things out. A year ago, I proposed, expecting her to say yes because it felt like the next step. She was thrilled but said she wasn't ready. She asked for more time, saying she loved me but wasn't in the right mental space for marriage. It hurt, but I didn't take it as rejection. I thought maybe she just wanted to finish school or advance her career a bit more. I respected that. We weren't a casual couple. We weren't just seeing where things went. She had access to my accounts, used my car while hers was in the shop for months, and I co-signed a $25,000 loan so she could finish her last year of study without working full-time. She called me her partner in front of everyone. I had no reason to think we weren't serious. A few weeks ago, I was looking at houses, wanting to put both our names on the deed. When I spoke with a mortgage advisor, they asked for some documents from both of us, so I provided her information. That's when it came out, she was still legally married. I thought it was a mistake. She always referred to her ex, Leo, as her best friend. They'd known each other since college. I never liked how close they were, but she insisted it was purely platonic. He was at family gatherings, sometimes joined us on vacations, and always got the first hug from her mom, that kind of thing. I didn't love it, but I didn't push, I trusted her. Notably, I didn't even know he was her ex. When I confronted her, she said they got married 7 years ago in what she called a green card situation. Just paperwork to prevent his deportation. They were friends and there was nothing romantic. She said she didn't mention it because it wasn't relevant anymore. But it was relevant to me, not just because she hid it, but because her family knew. Apparently, everyone had known for years. I'd been with them constantly, birthdays, holidays, celebrations. Last summer, I helped her mom with the garden while she and her sister drank wine outside. Everyone pretended we were the couple. No one said a word. I asked her directly if there was anything sentimental between them. She said, no, we were never like that. But she hadn't filed for divorce. She swore she'd fix it before we got married and was just waiting for the right time. I don't believe her anymore. The more I look at the timeline, the more I feel used. I've done some calculations recently. I've spent over $80,000 in the last 5 years on rent, bills, groceries, trips, helping her pay off credit cards, that $25,000 loan, car repairs, and tuition costs. It's not just about the money, it's that I did all that thinking we were building a life together. I wouldn't have invested so much if I'd known I was basically the other man. She insists they're just friends and it's not what I think, but I don't understand how someone can say they love you and want a future with you while staying married to someone else, and hiding it for 5 years. Plus, what she did is a crime. Marrying someone for permanent residency is illegal. I asked why she didn't tell me sooner. She said it was because she didn't want to lose me, which makes no sense. That's not protecting someone. That's ensuring they don't leave while you keep using them. I haven't made any official legal moves yet, but I've started talking to a lawyer. I don't know what kind of case it is. Maybe fraud, maybe unjust enrichment. I just know I was used and I feel like an idiot for not seeing it. She's begging me not to tell anyone, saying she'll divorce him, she's sorry, she'll fix everything. But I'm past I'm sorry. This wasn't a little lie, it was 5 years of deception backed by her whole family. Leo, by the way, is still in her life. He lives a few blocks away, always around. I'm not trying to be dramatic or vengeful. I just want to know if this is something I can take legal action over, because I didn't spend 5 years investing in a future that now looks very different. I don't know if it's true that she only married him for residency or if there was something romantic she's downplaying while still seeing her ex. I don't care to figure that out. I just want to know how to recover everything I invested in a lie. Update 1. At first, I didn't plan to talk to her family, but I needed answers. I thought maybe someone in her circle would admit this was wrong or at least acknowledge they'd lied to me. I didn't expect apologies, but I hoped for some unbiased information beyond what Tanya told me. I started with her mother. We were close and I expected some honesty from her. She used to call me her second son, so I hoped for something different. But when I mentioned that Tanya never told me she was still married and that everyone knew, she gave me the worst response. It was never serious, just a formality. You're making a drama out of nothing. That chilled me. I asked how it couldn't be serious if she was legally bound to another man for the 5 years we were together. She just said Leo is part of the family, and since I played the husband, what was I complaining about? I was speechless. Her father was worse. I always sensed he didn't like me. I thought he was just dry, but now I see he never took me seriously. He told me they hadn't deceived me. Her sister, who used to call me Big Brother, stood there pretending not to hear anything. Not a word. They saw me as a walking checkbook. Someone to support Tanya while she figured out her next move, someone to hold her up while she found herself. That night, I got a text from her younger brother, Chris. We weren't super close, but we'd hung out a few times. He said he needed to talk in person, that it was important. He was the only one I hadn't spoken to yet, as I assumed I'd get the same response as the rest. We met the next day. He told me things that left me frozen. The betrayal was worse than I'd imagined. He said to investigate where the money I gave Tanya went. For example, money I thought was for a thesis-related study ended up in a business account in her and Leo's names. Chris said they planned to buy a house once Leo's new business had 6 months of income. Tanya told the family it was an investment property, but he suspected otherwise. I felt sick, not just because of the money, but because I'd slept next to someone for 5 years who was draining me and planned to keep doing it until they'd taken all they could. The next morning, I sent everything to my lawyer without processing it emotionally. I just wanted it off my chest and a solution. He considered it civil fraud with enough to investigate further. Depending on the accounts, loans, and paper trail, it could even become criminal, especially if there was forgery or false statements that I called Chris to thank him. He sounded guilty but relieved. He didn't agree with it, but the family told him to stay out of it. He kept saying, "I'm sorry for not saying something sooner." At least he did the right thing, even if late. Without him, I might still be in the dark. Tanya hasn't reached out since I told her I knew the truth. She must know what's coming. Her silence speaks louder than any excuse. The total amount she took isn't fully calculated yet, but it's worse than I thought. I'm not trying to stay calm anymore. Now I'll do everything in my power to get my money back. Update 2. My lawyer said we'd start by suing her in civil court, and depending on discovery, we could refer it for criminal investigation if needed. That gives me peace of mind. We might not recover all the money, they don't have it, but if they pay with prison time, that'll offer relief. We'll still go after everything they have, leaving them penniless, wishing for prison just for meals and a roof. I'm not talking to Tanya, both because I don't want to end on my lawyer's advice. She's been writing, which helps our case. Blocking her could prevent incriminating statements. She wrote that she loved me but was just helping Leo, a good friend, and asked to talk to fix things. I didn't respond, keeping contact minimal. She offered $10,000 to make it go away. The total could reach $160,000, and she thinks $10,000 is enough. More with interest and damages. 2 days later, Leo came to my workplace, waiting in the lobby to intercept me. He smiled, saying it didn't have to get ugly, that he understood my anger, but I should be smart. He said I'd never get the money back, and if it went to trial, Tanya would claim it was a misunderstanding, that I gave the money voluntarily, distorted by jealousy. He made it clear she'd protect him. Luckily, he said it publicly, near witnesses willing to testify. I didn't respond, went to security, had him escorted out, and filed a police report that day. My lawyer and I are building a financial timeline with new evidence. We'll request subpoenas to make the trial straightforward. Chris agreed to testify. Tanya hasn't contacted me again, perhaps realizing it's not helping, but she knows what's coming. Leo's either panicking or concocting lies. Either way, I'm done with it. Update 3. After Leo tried intimidating me at work, things are moving in our favor. His threats helped. We petitioned to freeze Tanya and Leo's accounts, including business ones, and it was granted. They have no access now. It's a shame Leo's new business relies on that money, but he can't operate it with mine during the trial. He hadn't incorporated it yet, just testing the waters, which works for us. We've received documents strengthening the case. An address linked to Leo's business was rented in my name, but the signature wasn't mine. It didn't even look like it. They used my name and a fake signature to rent an office 6 months ago, submitting an old pay stub and utility bill from our apartment. I didn't know they had those. Now they've used my identity for a commercial lease, making it more serious. We're subpoenaing the leasing company for the original application, proving forgery. The landlord only dealt with Leo, never me. Tanya had access to my personal information for years and I trusted her. She used that to create a paper trail I didn't know about. I'd be liable if they stopped paying that rent. 2 days later, her parents showed up at my apartment. Her mother was crying, her agitating. They offered to pay Tanya's debt if I dropped the lawsuit, knowing it'd have lifelong legal consequences for her. No one hires a fraudster. I gave them our figure. They said they couldn't come close, offering $45,000. That's far below what we expect or seek, and it'd spare her broader consequences. I asked them to leave, they didn't. I recorded, gave them 30 seconds to go or I'd call the police. They left, but her father warned I'd regret escalating. I sent the recording to my lawyer. Everything related to Tanya, Leo, and her family is documented. That night, Chris texted about an audio file he forgot. It turned his stomach and I see why. Tanya told Leo the first was asking too many financial questions. She said, "I just need to keep him entertained until we can withdraw all the money," meaning my account. She needed me happy until they could exit cleanly, even faking readiness to marry me. Her tears about not being ready? She just avoided commitment until they got what they needed. My lawyer called it a smoking gun. With the audio, financial documents, forged lease, and Chris's testimony, we have a solid civil lawsuit and likely a criminal case. Identity theft, financial fraud, forgery, unjust enrichment, premarital deception, and possible conspiracy. We're finalizing the lawsuit for $184,000 in direct, traceable damages from my accounts, loans, rents, and credit cards linked to them. With interest and punitive damages, it could exceed $250,000. Their offers don't cut it. Tanya hasn't contacted me since offering $10,000. Leo hasn't returned, and if he does, I'll call the police. I'm done playing. Update 4. Mediation was a few days ago. I'm relieved, angry, exhausted, all at once. We've got some justice. My lawyer presented while Tanya cried throughout. Chris testified via video, avoiding in person. Her lawyer had little to say, pushing for a private resolution with lower compensation to avoid court. I didn't consider it. We'd filed and I wasn't backing down. Leo didn't appear despite being summoned. My lawyer filed a motion with the mediator for possible criminal charges, identity theft, and financial fraud. Tanya paled. Her lawyer requested a recess. An hour later, they offered a full settlement, $90,000 in restitution over 5 years. Tanya must liquidate assets, car, business equipment, and follow a court-monitored payment plan. Full responsibility for the $25,000 loan, now in her name. I'm free of it. Permanent no-contact order, including her parents. Assigned admission of financial misconduct, usable for a criminal complaint. The mediator said the criminal part is with the DA now. They might investigate based on our evidence. The settlement could lessen Tanya's charges for cooperating. Leo's absence likely means harsher consequences if it goes criminal. He still faces trial for his debt share. Not showing up will hurt him. Chris, disowned by his family, did right despite the cost. We're optimistic, but civil and criminal cases against Leo and Tanya remain unresolved. Update 5. Yesterday, the trial against Leo for the money he and Tanya took ended. Skipping mediation backfired. He's ordered to sell major assets and repay the full amount, plus damages, interest, and fees, nearly double what he'd have paid if he'd shown up. He claimed no money for a lawyer, but the judge didn't buy it. He had savings from past jobs he wouldn't touch for his risky business. But not mine. That money's mine now. Criminal trials are starting, looking bad for him. Tanya can show a settlement. Leo's future is grim, 15 years sought by the prosecutor. Half would satisfy me. Tanya's at 10 years with the settlement reduction. Half would be 5, matching our relationship. Fair enough. Update 6. Comment bets favored 7 years for Leo, 3 for Tanya. A less voted option won. Leo got 9 years, Tanya 7. Tanya surprised me, but it's logical. She was guilty of immigration fraud for the green card marriage, adding time. Both were convicted of an illicit association to defraud me and the state. Payment plans shift. I've recovered much, but half remains, accruing interest in prison. They'll exit to a marked future, working years to repay me. Greed, deceit, and dishonesty ruined their lives.